Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second event of this year's Elevator Lab Challenge Southeast Europe. I'm Nevenka from Started, and I will be your host for today. As you might have seen yesterday, if you have followed our first category event, we had a chance to hear 6 teams from the entire region that are developing solutions in the area of retail and SME banking, as well as solutions for large corporates and institutional clients. Easy Albania team turned out as the winner of yesterday's competition, and they will be pitching live on December 15th in the regional final. Today, we will have a chance to hear even more teams. 10 teams will present today, and they are developing solutions in the area of advanced analytics and artificial intelligence, as well as payments and transaction processing. A bit of a difference in comparison to yesterday. The teams will have 3 minutes for the pitch. That part is the same. And we will have 3 minutes for the Q&A with the jury, since we have a bit larger number of the teams today. Before we move on to the pitches, I'd like to quickly remind you of what the winners of today's competition will actually win, other than pitching in the regional final, as I mentioned, for yesterday's winner, Easy Albania. So all of the teams that are winning in the category events will get 5,000 euros of grant money to further kickstart their growth, and also a chance to develop a pilot with one or even more of the regional Raiffeisen Banks who are organizing this competition, and possibly integrate their innovation into the network of the regional Raiffeisen Banks that has more than 2.6 million clients. Before we hear the first team, I'd like to introduce our jury members for today. Same as yesterday, we will have 7 jury members. 6 of them are representing Raiffeisen Banks from the region, as well as the head office in Austria, and we will also have 1 external jury member. Now I'd like to invite our jury members to join me on the screen. The first one is Iva Perisha. Hi, Iva. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Also, Arber Fazliu.
Hi, it's a pleasure.
Hi, welcome. The pleasure is all ours. Erion Serti.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Erion. Welcome. Haris Gonjo. Aida Hoxha. Hi, Aida. Welcome again. Faris Zacina is our external jury member from Bosnian Ministry of Programming. Hi, Faris, and welcome. Great to have you again. And Marko Nikolic.
Hi, hello.
Marko. Hi. Welcome. So thank you so much to our jury members for joining today. As I mentioned, we will have 3 minutes for each of the team's pitches, and each pitch will be followed by a 3-minute Q&A session with the jury. The first team we will hear today is Shoppa.
Hello, my name is Saj Manovic. I am Director of Technology Partnership, and I'm going to present you Shoppa, the future of shopping. 7 advancements lead to shopping, and that is too many. And then people spend on average 130 hours on online shopping. No wonder why around 9 out of 10 people abandon their carts. That is a loss of around $350 billion each year. Amazon is the major beneficiary of that. Our system, Shoppa, upgrades marketing channels to shopping, and that means that instead of 7, it will be finishing via 3 times. What do we mean? Instant solution, instant shopping. Shopper, sign once, size it once, shop everything, anytime, anything, anywhere. That means from either from the online, on a click, on a billboard, or shopping window, catalog, paper, wherever you go, wherever you see, you can buy immediately. And why is it so possible? Because we use communication platform as base for complete our platform. What does it mean? It means that instead of using making a system as like all other existing IT systems, we used a system for communication. This is something like a zero trust system, increased security, and we make it a communication system between all participants on the platform. And when you click or scan a code, Coppa instantly does real-time inventory check, reservation, then with the payment, we do payment confirmation delivery, and delivery of the customer where should the service or the merchandise be delivered. Market size is huge, and we aim for 1 bit of the size, something like just based on average, something like 0.45% of each transaction. Our major competitors are fast, bold, but our major advantage is that we work online, offline, and we provide unified omni-channel experience. And I can show you right now how. So, mobile phone, get, scan. This, we get the details, pay, finished. And this is in a few seconds, we completed the whole transaction. Business model, paying services, subscription fee per use of Coppa code. And then we provide quite a lot of additional services. For Raiffeisen, Tatra Bank, we believe that their ecosystem would be extremely helpful for us to spread in the European Union, in European Economic Area, particularly to provide all kinds of payment services to the whole Europe. Team is extremely busy, extremely savvy, both from the technical point of view as well as from the business. For example, we have some hedge fund managers and people that brought to life IBM Cognos planning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sava, for your pitch, and as well as for that little demo of your product that you showed us during your presentation. Now we will move on to a 3-minute session with the jury.
Okay, thank you for a great presentation. I have a question regarding how it functions end-to-end. I can understand that the QR codes are generated by Coppa, but how it will be integrated with merchant at the back end in order to release the goods?
You're muted.
We have a number of connectors that are connected to each merchant. At the moment, we support our own backend. We support Merchant Pro. We support Shopify. That is now in testing. We are also working on WooCommerce that should be finished till the end of the year. And then we can expand to all other kind of either ERPs, warehouse solutions, or online kind of systems like Squarespace, Wix, BigCommerce, Magento, and so on.
Do you need 2 devices to perform the shopping?
No, only 1 device. This isn't like it could work on a mobile phone. It works on a click, and we have integration with social networks like Instagram, tested, YouTube, Twitter. We are working with integration with TikTok and everything else. So on a mobile phone, you can have it just works like a click, and I can show you that if you want.
No, it's fine. It works like a deep link, or?
Yes, deep link, and then deep link provides details to which end connector it has to each end connector customer connects, or the mobile phone or customer connects to each merchants on that connector. It could be only one, which product or service. Then we get information of product, price, do real-time inventory check if that product is available, reserve it. Then we do a payment. If the customer wants to do a payment to buy that purchase, with the payment we connect to appropriate payment service. At the moment we support credit cards with Banca Intesa. We are certified by Banca Intesa as well. We get payment confirmation that is delivered both to merchant and to a customer, and then the customer sends his details to the merchant. In that way, we are also following GDPR, CCPA, and everything else, because in that case, there is a contractual obligation for the merchants to have details of the customer.
QR codes are static ones or are generated on fly by shopping chart?
It could be both. It could be static ones because we could call them dynamic Shopper. They are just providing any information how to connect. We establish both-way communication. So we don't have a lot of data inside of the code itself, but the code tells customer where to connect. We also integrated 3D Secure inside of our system. So 3D Secure and 3D Secure.
Thank you, Sava. This was all the time we had for the questions, and thank you to our jury members for asking them. The next team to present today is Clicktech Development.
Hello everyone, my name is Stefan. Today I'm going to present you Click Super App. We are building infrastructure for mobile payments. The main problem we are trying to solve is inconvenient payment methods for users so they can connect multiple cards to our digital wallet and make payments from there. We're also trying to help businesses overcome problems in going fully digital. For example, brick and mortar businesses have problems in getting their store, marketing, payments, logistics. We're trying to provide them one-in-all solution. Also, we are trying to address smart city challenges, providing users the one app where they can have all the services they have to pay for everything they need. Our solution is composed of 4 different elements. One is chat, which provides social communication one-on-one and group chats. Second is business official accounts for registered companies and businesses. The third is payment infrastructure. And the fourth one is developer framework, where other developers can come in and build their solution on top of our platform. Market opportunity is huge. M-commerce is on the rise for years now, and we reach nearly 4.4 billion users using digital wallets, which have generated more than $10 trillion in annual turnover. Our main competitors are single service providers or wannabe super apps that are coming up also in the market. We have global competitors like WeChat, Alipay, and Gojek. Our competitive advantage is we're focused fully on data privacy, user experience, delayed payments, and we're looking for the bank to do pay now, buy later option. Buy now, pay later option. Yeah. A lineup of our product is that we want to provide with our partner developers plugins for all the different services that we see here on the screen, which will result in multi-usability of our app. Business model is based on transaction. We have a basic one, 3%, and we have add value transactions, which are 4 and 5, depending on the business model and business needs. Our team is composed of many experts in their respective fields, like banking, payments, digitalization, and so on. The main cooperation that we want to do with the bank is iRatron, online identification of the users, club payment accounts for youth, and we want to get really serious on buy now, pay later with exclusive deals, multi-split payments, reward clubs. The main goal is to get as much as users as possible and provide them the ability to use new ways of digitalization because they all use digital platforms and so on. We want to give the flexible option to users and educate them so they can have, they can really gossip the digitalization of money and they can learn about budgets and stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stefan, for your pitch. And now we'll move on to our Q&A with the jury.
Thank you.
Stefan, maybe I can start. What kind of video identification are you using? Is it your product or are you integrating third-party product?
We are currently not using video identification. We're looking for partnership to do this together with.
Okay, thanks.
When you said partnering with the bank for buy now, pay later, what did you have in mind?
We had in mind that we want to have some of our partners developing m-commerce solutions plugged into our app. Because we will have actually the balances of our users, we want to provide them with the option to buy some product from their web shop. And we want to offer also the buy now, pay later solution built into our system. So we can offer the same experience like they have when they go to the regular shop to buy and they buy now, they are doing monthly payments. We want to offer the same thing online.
Who are your customers? Banks, merchants, or end customers?
Yeah, so as a digital wallet, we are approaching end consumer, end user who is opening the wallet with us. And on the other side, on the merchant side, we are approaching the shops who want to have digital shop built within our app. So for example, the end shop or merchant, he don't have to build his own website. He don't have to do his own marketing. He only need to list his products that he has in the store, and we will do the marketing to bring the customers, the buyers in the app. So in this way, we will help the local merchants present their products online, and we'll help them with the marketing of the products they already have in store. So just to clarify, we want to do...
Yeah, a question from my side. How easy is for a merchant to be part of your network?
It's very simple. He needs to be registered with the authority. So he has to be registered business, has a business address, all the things necessary to be registered, right? And we just open for him a merchant wallet account, which is different from the individual user. And this wallet can only receive payments. So we have the closed loop, closed ecosystem. Once the user top up our wallet, he got the electronic money, and within our ecosystem, he can spend anywhere. And on the merchant side, once they make the sale, we make the transaction fee.
I will continue on that. On the merchant side, do you help them keep some inventory, for example, or you expect that they're to expose their system and APIs that you just do the buying on the fly?
So this goes two ways. One way is the big merchant, let's say, for example, AliExpress, that I have a relationship with. They are going to be one of the integrating partners, so we can access AliExpress from within Click Super app. And the second one is the corner shop that we have in our local city. We will offer him the full service. We will offer him the store and everything. He don't have to have any technology.
Thank you, Stefan. This was all the time we had for the Q&A. Sorry for cutting you off, but we don't have plenty of time. This was team Clicktech Development. Thank you, Stefan, and thank you to our jury members. The next team that will present today is Flash.
Hello, everyone. My name is Milica Gazivoda, and I will present you the Flash team and our idea. Modern user demands necessitate faster and more efficient services, resulting in changes in the traditional banking sector. Existing banking solutions are not offered to customer cardless transactions at POS and ATMs, as well as cardless online payments. Clients who do not have a payment card or a mobile banking application are unable to conduct a transaction without a bank counter. Also, the current banking process is slow and costly for both the clients and the bank. Flash is the cardless solution that allows users to pay and withdraw cash using a code generated by a mobile phone. It is completely new payment system, modern, innovative, safe, and user-friendly, with client in focus and with a process that is simple, clear, and much less expensive. Flash services are payments at POS terminals, cash withdrawal at ATMs, online shopping, and transfer of funds between users. The current transaction process imposes several fees and penalties on banks. With Flash, banks have lower costs and can provide customers and merchants with cheaper and faster service. Among other, in the European Union is in force the PSD2 directive, which mandates a greater openness of the banks, and banks are already adapting their solution to this trend. Flash is completely compatible with this. Flash is a cloud solution that connects to core banking system. The business model is revenue share with the bank. The sale is direct to bank with the possibility of selling using integrators, and the current focus is on Western Balkan countries with an expansion plan into Europe. Our team is made up of 3 women. Milena Plamenec is a full-stack developer with proven experience developing local and international e-commerce solutions. Natasha Popova, the experienced software engineer with a demonstrated history of managing and developing IT solutions. And myself, a digital banking expert with proven experience in banking, with 15 years of experience in banking and IT sector. At the end, I conclude with our slogan: no card, no cash, no problem. You do not have to worry if you go out with a payment card or cash, because you now have Flash. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Milica, for your pitch. And I believe Milica is joined by her entire team for this Q&A session. And we have 3 minutes for the questions of the jury.
Hi, we are all here.
Okay, I'll start. I have actually 2 questions. Question number 1, how do you think of conducting cash withdrawals at ATM based on QR? How do you integrate with the bank? And as far as I understand, your idea is to connect with all the banks on a specific market or to most of the banks in order for your app to work. And second question, how do you see the QR-based payments, for example, in coming more and more to the Balkans, but for example, in Serbia, the QR payments made by the National Bank of Serbia at point of sales and in online space?
Our solution is not based on QR code, but on code generated by a mobile phone, mobile application. That is just a 6-number code that you put on ATMs and you can withdraw money. And we are, sorry?
No, continue.
We are connected to the bank and we are connected to the ATM with special APIs, both secure APIs. And we are currently working on connection to one bank because we have to made some solution with one bank, and then we expand that on the market.
And then point of sales, how do you pay on point of sales? The same, enter the code in the POS?
Yes. Point of sales and online payments, so only with the code. I believe that I answered all 2 questions, or not?
No, it's fine. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, I have one question. What makes you different from the competitors? So what bring you more?
Competitors have m-banking applications, mobile banking applications, through which we can pay or transfer funds to other users, and have payment cards. We are a combination of these 2 solutions because Flash can provide users to pay and withdraw cash and pay on POS and online payments just with the cash, only to have a bank account.
Thank you, Milica, Milena, and Natasha. This was all the time we had for our Q&A. This was Team Flash. And the next team that you will have a chance to hear now is Rubicon.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Eno Kotmido, and I represent Rubicon, an Albanian fintech. Our customer acquisition initially will be focused on the 18 to 25-year-old age segment, mostly by affiliate-based growth strategy. By end of year 1 of operation, we anticipate 30,000 new customers and growing with another 30,000 by end of year 2. With a quick market research of the competition, we have comfortably placed Pago on the ease of use and the affordable range. Our core product is our in-house developed online payment system, Pago, with, soon to be licensed as an e-money institution by the Central Bank of Albania. Our services consist in instant payment, payment processor, and fintech infrastructure. Pago's other revenue streams will be re-engaging, cross and upselling. We aim to become the leader in offline retargeting by combining the physical and the online worlds. Our executive team has an average experience of 16.5 years in fintech solutions, supported by a strong advisory committee with experience in investment banking and prior experience in fintech ventures. In possible cooperations with the bank, we actually see ourselves as a revenue stream for the bank, as potential customers for e-commerce acquiring and BIN sponsorship as an affiliate member. The bank will see multiple revenue opportunities with Rubicon as a client. And while we focus on our strategies to bridge the age gap of the unbanked, there will be windows for co-marketing initiatives, thus making Rubicon more like a partner rather than a client, all while creating vast opportunities for institutions to grow together. Thank you.
Thank you for your pitch. This was Team Rubicon, and now we have 3 minutes for the questions of the jury.
And maybe I'll start. So congratulations on your presentation. First, what do you mean by fintech infrastructure that you mentioned?
By fintech infrastructure, we mean our own backend instant payment processing. So that's built in-house. It's not a bot system.
Okay, you mentioned that you are in process of getting licensed in Albania.
Yes.
How this would look like in another country if it's required to spread?
We have to be licensed as an e-money institution in every country for our software, for our application to be a legal entity.
Okay.
Yeah, related to that, what's your go-to-market strategy? I mean, what's your next country you are planning to go, or are you going to be only in Albania for now?
For now, we are definitely going to be in Albania. As I said, we are awaiting our license, but so far this is our plan. Maybe we can go to Kosovo in the coming years, but we have to see how we proceed.
And what would you consider innovation in your product? What is something new you are bringing on the table?
Well, actually, this our application would be compared to several apps already in existence. I can use, for example, Revolut or PayPal. So we offer full features within our app. Features that we also plan on applying. So there are no limits on what we can do in payment processing. We have a roadmap ahead of us. We have so far we're on schedule, and we're very happy about our work as far as right now.
This was all the time we had for the questions. Thank you. I know this was Team Rubicon. And the next team we'll hear today is CryptoPal.
Hello, my name is Juro Bajic. I am CEO for Tesla Crypto from Belgrade, and I will present you CryptoPal. CryptoPal is crypto payment processing dedicated for Raiffeisen clients. What we do? Merchants have a 2.4 payment processing fee, but CryptoPal has only 0 crypto processing fee, also without any chargeback, saving time, overreach, no restriction, no hidden fees. Onboarding is very fast. CryptoPal accepts crypto payments anywhere, in social network, website, by email, in person. We accept payments from anyone in the world and get settled real time in crypto or with 1 business day in fiat. What is benefit for customers? Ultra low fees. They pay average $20 for blockchain transaction fee on Ethereum. But if you use CryptoPal, they pay 0 on 0.5 dollars on chain transactions. Competitors, classic payment processors, PayPal, Stripe, Square, don't use crypto in full. Crypto payment processors, BitPay, crypto processing, CoinGate, we are far more innovative from them. CryptoPal, reinventing personal investments for every shopping use. Spend, earn, unspended is our motto. Market potential is big. Competitors, crypto processor has 2.3 billion euros, CoinGate over 1 billion, and so on. Market is rising. Our focus is Europe and other countries. We have freemium model and have 5 verticals. Also, we think for next 3 years, we will have 1 billion in processing. What is interesting, we have innovation, crypto-powered payment model. Every investment can become shop spending, and every shop spending can become investment. Because we have our special force, it's token family. What is also important, we have Tesla stablecoins, crypto dinar, crypto euro, crypto dollar. Stablecoins is important for zero price volatility. What is Tesla Crypto Power? We are Fintech, registered in April. We have a company capital of 460 euros, 1,000 euro. We apply for crypto license in Serbia, and benefit for Raiffeisen is money transaction fee, currency exchange fee, company deposit for stablecoins, referral fee. Indirect bank benefit integrate with Raiffeisen e-commerce and offering innovative third-party service. CryptoPal, the game changer. Thank you.
Thank you, Judo, for your pitch. And now we will move on to our Q&A with the jury.
Thank you for presentation. Which cryptocurrencies are supported, and are there supported also ERC-20 tokens?
No, we support many blockchains. As you can see, we support Polygon chain, Avalanche chain, and other chains. Not only ERC-20 tokens.
And the transactions are happening on these public networks, or you have your own network where the transactions are?
We don't have. We are a payment processor. We take crypto on the one hand and exchange crypto on the market. We have our backend liquidity and connection to other exchange, and we exchange crypto to the money and put money to the client's pocket or to merchant's account. We're doing payment processing like exchange.
Can you just basically explain? Your services are more exchange between crypto to fiat currency rather than paying in cryptocurrency, if I understand correctly.
Can you repeat?
Your service is rather exchange of cryptocurrency to fiat currency and not paying with cryptocurrency directly to the merchant.
No. CryptoPal is payment processor for crypto. You send crypto to us, we send money to merchant. Also, our company, Tesla Crypto, is fully licensed exchange, and we have other services like buy crypto, sell crypto, deposit crypto, and so on. So CryptoPal is only one segment. It's a crypto payment processing.
Okay, can you just explain how a transaction would be conducted in the physical space? Okay, online, I think I can understand, but physically, if I'm at the merchant point of sale and I want to use your, let's say, wallet to pay to the merchant, how will the transaction look like?
On the point of sale, a merchant must have a mobile phone. In the mobile phone, a merchant will have our application and have a page for payment processing. So in this page, he must put and enter amount and what is the product key, and he just this information sent to the client on the point of sale. Client also must have application to get this transaction done on the point of sale.
Thank you, Jura. This was all the time we had for the questions. This was Team CryptoPal. And the next team we will hear today is Datamax.
Hello, everyone. I am Bujar from Datamax, and at Datamax, we reduce customer friction by automating manual tasks. Back in the days where the manual telephone switchboard was a thing, this was basically how the calls were forwarded from the caller to the receiver. And more or less, basically, this is also how it happens today with public email addresses of big corporates. Examples are like info@raiffeisenbank.com or contact@raiffeisenbank.com. They receive a lot of inquiries from customers in a wide variety of topics. And then there is a person who is actually forwarding these inquiries to the correct person. And then somebody answers to the customer. However, this is a slow, error-prone, and labor-intense process. And in the end, this degrades the customer experience, leading to a potential loss of the customers. Our solution for this is to build an automated machine learning algorithm, which will direct the inquiries directly to the correct recipient. The algorithm will be trained on the old inquiries that the company has received in the previous years, months, and then knows how to process them. Therefore, we can train the model and then forward the request. The better thing of this approach is that the more the system is used, then the more it can learn and achieve better results in terms of precision and accuracy. Our target customers are big corporates that want to build solid customer relations. This will help them to easily and quickly answer to their customers. One of the main competitors for us is Levity.ai, which is a startup from Berlin and then has already raised a 1.7 million pre-seed round. They build basically a DIY ML workflow automation. As you can see from the pictures on the right, our prototype is a work in progress. We use an Enron dataset to train our email classification model. However, it's not 100% accurate. Our solution is fast, scalable, and like wine, it only gets better with time, the more it's used by the users. We have decided for a freemium business model where the more the users first use a few calls, but then afterwards they have to pay to use it more. And finally, I want to introduce my team, Bujar, Sadik, as co-founders, and our superstar engineers are Dani and Igli. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bujar, and now we'll proceed to our Q&A.
Thank you.
Maybe I can start. Have you talked with any customers? I mean, do you have any LOIs or anything like that? I mean, have you done your user research?
We have had similar use cases, not in the banking industry, but in other industries where customers are waiting a lot in queue to receive some answer.
Just what other industries? What are the industries you
Retail.
Explore? Retail.
Can you give us an example of commercial use? What you did with the retail?
Basically, it was a DIY shop, and the customers would need sometimes help with how to use the tools, sometimes help with how to fix their issues, and then once they get once they submit an inquiry, they'd have to wait. But as from the customer point of view, if you are having a problem with your tool right now, then you want to solve it now. You don't want to wait 5 hours, 10 hours, or maybe tomorrow to get an answer for that.
From your perspective, what would be the benefit or innovation that you bring to the banking services?
The benefit is customer satisfaction. Innovation is bringing machine learning into this field and increasing the customer satisfaction.
Is this proprietary platform development of yours, or are you building over some other technology on top? And I have two questions. And the second is, since we are a group, so if we are to plan the integration with you, let's say, multi-language would be a point. Do you deal with that?
Technology-wise, our backend is based on open source technologies, Kubernetes. Of course, deployment can be in all major cloud providers. Other than that, there is a lot of Python used there and some free-to-use machine learning models, but we have also adapted these models to our use case. Multi-language support is certainly in our roadmap. For now, we have only worked with English. Our data set was Enron, the free open source email data set from them. But the technology is there. Multi-language models are supported.
Thank you, Datamax team. And the next team we will hear today is RPay.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I want to share with you our product concept. The product is called P0K, which basically means payments with zero commission, and is powered by RPay, which is the name of the company. Our main goal is to create an application that is very easy to use and offers the users the possibility to transfer money and pay in shops and online, and it can be used by anyone of any age group. This application, of course, required a lot of investment, so we have to welcome on board some of important businessmen in Albania. One of them is Mr. Gazment Hajia, the other is Mr. Besnik Leskaj, and one of the founders, which is Mr. Alexander Risilia, and myself, Akil Raido. We also had to bring on board one important member, which is Mr. Thomas Marshall, that is the board chairman. So why we decided to go to this kind of applications? Because there is a market trend that in Albania that 11% of electronic payments were in 2019, and this number is expected to grow to 35% in 2021. So Albania versus Eurozone, as we can see, because Albania wants to go to the Eurozone has 92.3% of transactions, so there is a lot of business potential for us in there. So what we are trying to solve? We're trying to offer our users credit card processing native, instantaneous money transfers, low commissions, simplified process of paying online, KYC online, and recurring payments. So what do we offer to our customers? As I mentioned, is local international instantaneous money transfers. A basic transaction is completed within 15 seconds. Utility payments, water supply bill, electricity bill, etc. Paying in retail, in stores, and online payments. And of course, we're integrating with other apps. A basic use case scenario is that the cashier generates an invoice, user scans the invoice, confirms, and pays. It's that simple. We can also transfer money. We select the beneficiary, we enter the amount, and confirm the payment. Well, of course, we can also request money. So we select from the contacts who we want to get money from, enter the amount, and wait from them to confirm the transaction. One other innovation that we want to bring is the buy now, pay later, which user is pre-approved for microloans. User goes to the merchant to buy a TV, scans the invoice, and through the microloan, we let them have the funds and buy them without having any money in their account. Our competitive advantages is the possibility to save cards. The app is multi-language support and is integratable with other systems, and of course, we're continuously developing it. We can also integrate open banking in our application. We have the possibility to save credit card data and the request for funds. Of course, one very good option is to have the entire process being online of opening an account, which is know your customer. And the future developments include marketplace, loans, and digital wallet. These are some of the limitations: no open banking, no support for blockchain, fraud management, and educated customers in Albania.
Thank you, Akil, for your pitch. And now we will have 3 minutes for the questions of the jury.
Hi, everyone.
I mean, have you built the app, and do you have any traction so far?
Sorry?
Have you already built the app, or are you building it? And do you have any traction?
We have already built the app, and we have already gotten the license from the Central Bank of Albania to operate as an institution payment solution.
So you're waiting for the license, so you don't have any...
We have completed the process of getting licensed. We have now started the process of getting licensed in the EU and the UK as well.
Do you have any users? How much?
No, we're starting to go live from January.
Okay.
You are talking about fraud limitations and challenges regarding fraud management. Why is that?
Well, because here in Albania, there are no very good solutions for fraud management, and most of the banks do not offer a solution. So to avoid fraud, we partnered directly with Visa. So we went there, we implemented Visa solution directly into our application, and they have algorithms built on machine learning and data processing that detect fraud and prevent it in real time.
Will you have integration with video identification regarding the KYC process?
Yeah, that's one of our strong points. The law was approved today. We are using a partner, Jumia, for this thing. Jumia has a lot of clients like Coinbase, Binance, HSBC, Barclays, Stripe, and stuff like that. It has a lot of clients, so we have an exclusive partnership with them.
What's your vision? How it would look partnership with a bank? So what services you would offer a bank with your solution?
So basically our bank will profit from our transactions. So all of our transactions will be resided on a bank account. We have already on board some big clients that I cannot disclose for the moment, but we're looking for an income of at least 50 million per year, euros, from the pre-sale contracts that we already have.
Revenue or income?
Revenue.
What integration with other systems you have in place?
Sorry?
Integration with other systems, you said. Which one?
So we have integrations, as I mentioned, directly with Visa Network. We have integrations with Jumia. We have integrations with microloan service provider here in Albania. And we are working closely with the Tirana municipality to offer the payments of tickets and parking for public transport as well.
Maybe a question from my side. You mentioned before a pre-approval process. How does it work?
So basically, you log into our application, pass the KYC procedure, and if you want to apply for a microloan, you just press an apply button. The microloan service provider just scans your records, your data, your credit score, and they pre-approve you. You do not have to get the loan directly. You get it when you want to use it.
Thank you, Akhil. This was all the time we had for the questions of the jury. And the next team that we'll hear is Fish AR.
Thank you. My name is Ivo, and it's a pleasure to show you how Fish AR protects your customers everywhere. As a company, we were started from University of Oxford based on years of industrial research, and we're proud to be strongly supported by MasterCard, Armasys, and many other organizations to help us craft this into a unique solution to existing problems. What are the problems? Well, actually, we unfortunately know that it takes less than a day for anyone who knows what they're doing to actually compromise users of any cloud storage, collaborative tool, any other web app, and even web banking application out there. Why is that? Well, because it's very easy to launch phishing attacks. These have increased more than 300% during the COVID crisis. And even right now, about 80% of reported breaches are phishing. This is why phishing is actually overtaking even ransomware as the highest threat based on many, many reports. This is because it's super hard for users to detect phishing attacks. As an example, on the right, you are actually seeing a phishing login, which is perfect identical copy of a legitimate login to a web banking system in the UK. For attackers, because there are publicly available toolkits to create these kind of perfect mirror replicas, it actually takes less than an hour to create something like this and distribute to many, many users. And it's not just banking, your customers are at risk everywhere, whether it's sophisticated payment fraud on online shops to even just accessing documents and this way giving their credentials while they, for example, collaborate online. The problem and what's breaking web authentication is real-time phishing. And it's actually able to even bypass two-factor authentication. And it doesn't really matter whether you're using SMS, notifications, or codes, for example, coming through email. As long as users don't detect that they're actually visiting a phishing website, they will just continue giving their credentials to whoever asks. Our company started by asking actually, how can we take existing mobile apps, which are already being used for 2FA, and make them start protecting their customers against phishing? What we realized based on our research is that our smartphones, our existing technology, and especially the deep learning AIs, artificial intelligence models, are enabling us now to actually start seeing through users' eyes and use their smartphones as security experts to actually protect them wherever they go. So next time users are not sure whether they should proceed or not with a payment or input their credentials somewhere, well, they can just pick up their phone and show their screen and see whether this is correct or not the thing to do. And this is what PhishIR does. We have mobile software development kits, so additions to your existing applications, which actually either integrate into authentication workflows or payment transaction workflows and make it that your users are protected and they don't fall victims to phishing attacks, they don't fall victims to fraud or any other basically cyber threats elsewhere. So it's not just only for authentication, but authentication is what we target dominantly at the moment. We understand that your customer security cannot just be solved by implementing more authentication factors because they will just continue giving them. What we specialize in is actually using artificial intelligence to look through their eyes, see what they're seeing, and this way stop the hardest attacks.
Thank you, Ivo, and let's move on to the questions of our jury.
Thank you. Do you have any competitors? Who else is doing this?
Directly, what we are doing, we don't. So the approach is quite new, largely because camera technology, smartphone processing technologies, and deep learning or computer vision technologies weren't really developed to be able to do this 3 or 5 years ago. But if you ask me, our competitors in terms of just more broad authentication and security, then obviously there are many companies which are offering solutions. If you need to decide how you, for example, let your users authenticate to your web banking, this can be through notifications, this can be through additional one-time code passwords, many solutions, which unfortunately, if you cannot install something on your customer's computer, and typically you can't, or you can't get them to use hardware tokens which they actually plug into a computer, they will all fall victim to these real-time phishing attacks. So to this extent, we are completely unique and one of a kind on the market right now, which sounds preposterous, but that's why I'm showing some of these real-world examples of actually. We've spoken to people from Google, we've spoken to people from many large banks, organizations. Everyone initially reacts like this cannot be true, but then they see that this unfortunately is true. So
okay, yeah, you need 2 devices to use this functionality. So this is question number 1. Question number 2. Basically, the app. Let's say it's an app, and you use it when you are online on your desktop computer. It recognizes what, the logo, the wording, the entire page, or only the logo? What's the page layout? I mean, just to fully understand, because
so we are intentionally positioned as an addition to, for example, existing mobile banking application, which takes what you have and just makes it a bit more secure or fully secure. And the way we work is, we use the camera to actually extract which website the user is visiting. Are they visiting it through HTTPS, or SSL encryption? And to understand, because for example, if this was, Bank X, we know that Bank X web banking comes from, bankx.com, right, and not something else. This is something that normal users typically don't pay attention to, and that's why it's so easy to create these fake accounts, as with Lloyds Bank or Tide or many other banks.
So you scan the address.
Exactly. You in essence you scan the address but to fully make it work well, you work it seamlessly, and actually to do all the processing on device. There's a lot of additional machine learning that needs to be done there, or computer algorithms that are not.
Thank you, Ivo. This was all the time we had for the Q&A. Okay. And this was Team PhishIR. And next team we will hear today is DocsCube.
Hello everyone, I'm Nikola Cvetkovic and I'm here to present you DocsCube. DocsCube is document management software for modern workflow and business process automation. It is built with a vision to centralize complexity to scale simplicity. And here is what we do. Our platform has 3 modules to facilitate the most important processes in document management and automation. We have centralized store, data-driven document automation, and standardized workflows. Here on the diagram, we can see that often one business process is accompanied by different documentation. There are internal and external parties involved that need to agree on the deal. On the top of that, the data is locked on various places, which introduces manual prefill, non-standardized negotiations, and approvals coupled with manual data entry. How does DocsCube help? We addressed all parts of this problem, giving our users premium service that includes pulling the data CRM and from CRM and ERP systems, fully featured document generation, complete contract lifecycle and management and workflow automation. We are providing one source of truth, centralized store, a seamless data flow between documents, reducing manual and repetitive labor. And much more. Here you can see how some of our features compare with competition. Regarding the market, there is a huge market and our plan is to initially focus on SMEs. Business model, our pricing is subscription-based. We are scaling the price based on 2 parameters. One parameter is user-based and the other is document volume-based. As you all know, there is a rising trend of documents and business process digitalization. Small and medium-sized businesses are in desperate need to centralize their data related to banking services and business processes. We are introducing Raiffeisen SME portal, where on the Raiffeisen Bank side, the bank will be able to deliver centralized client support with standardized collaboration. SMEs will have access to all their documents that include loan requests, special offers, bank statements, contracts, reports. In addition, Raiffeisen Client Portal will provide solutions for SMEs to handle documentation processes on their side, which include data collecting, contract lifecycle management, workflows, tasks, and much more. Something more about us. Teon and I are co-founders. We have Nikola and Nemanja doing the development work. Alexandra and Nenad are our local support in Chicago, working on marketing and expanding our network. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Nikola. We will now proceed to the questions of the jury.
Okay, maybe I'm not sure whether I missed it or not. Is it how is this solution related to either payment or AI?
Basically,
so basically, management,
so we have an NLP module that analyzes the text and basically can extract all the information and prefill documents based on that information. Also, when creating new typical documents like that are used all the time, the system can increase the speed of creating those documents by instantly creating the variables that need to be replaced later. And that's one side, and the other side is the analytics side, where we can show the timeline of contracts, so users can see all their obligations showed on the time, and also can be notified with about renewal periods. And later we plan to improve our analytics part to add additional part that will actually suggest that users will be able to draw conclusions with, for example, what are the best periods for some contracts to be renewed, what is the best time for the client to receive notification, and so on.
When you said analyzes the documents, you're referring to text-based documents, electronic documents, or scanned documents from paper?
Yeah, we support both. So basically, you can add a document that is already in electronic form, or you can add a scanned document, which will be then turned to electronic form.
And what's accuracy of identifying the fields in percentage? Identifying the fields and filling correctly?
Yeah, well, it really depends on the type of the document. And it's not meant to be like one click and done. It's meant just to make the person who does that more efficient. So it will our initial analysis will go through approval process.
Yeah, and separate module is responsible for extracting data from invoices and other type of documents.
Thank you, Nicola and Town. This was Team DocsCube. And we have come to our last team for this afternoon. And last team you will hear is Swinto.
Hi, I'm Obian. I'm co-founder and CTO of Swinto. So what is Swinto? It's a fintech startup and we're building a people-friendly digital financial platform. And we're doing that so that we can offer free and instant transfers, sophisticated payment methods using QR code payments, and great currency exchange rates. And we're doing that through innovative technology so we can offer so much more. So what's the problem? Well, a lot of people live abroad and they send money back home to their families, and they try and do that on a regular basis and in various ways. But as we know, it's slow, it's cumbersome and expensive. And not everyone in the Balkan region has easy access to formal financial services, and that contributes to the informal economy. And of course, really important to us, women contribute the largest group of unbanked people, and so that they're least included in the financial system for their everyday payment needs. So our solution is to build a cutting-edge financial platform which makes it possible to send or receive money instantly and at no cost and securely. And part of that is building an easy and fully digital onboarding process. That means you can do it all on your phone. There's nowhere to visit or nothing to sign paper-wise. And that also includes no opening or maintenance fees. And a very important part of that is dedicated campaigns that we do to include and empower the unbanked part of society, predominantly women. So what's our expected development and targets? Well, we're launching in Switzerland and Kosovo now. That's December 21. And our target is 140,000 fully onboarded users for next year in Kosovo, Switzerland. And that goes hand in hand with our aim to also expand to new markets like Europe and the wider Balkan region. So the Swinto way, what's our model? Well, as I said, we're building an all-inclusive financial platform, and that's architected as an ecosystem where individual users in the Western Balkans and Europe, businesses in the Balkans and commercial banks will see much greater value as they share a common connected platform. Individuals benefit from having the opportunity to send and receive and exchange funds and do payments like QR code instantly, securely, and without any fees. And businesses on Swinto don't lose out from the whole new clientele and new payment methods. And whereas commercial banks, they benefit from this added activity and deposits as remittances. So banks are integral to us. They play an important role, we think, to the future financial ecosystem. And we aim to integrate banking as a core part of Swinto that's supporting a fundamental element within the platform as a whole. Our platform is designed secure, scalable, and reliable, and we do that through the latest technology. So that's our 3-minute bit on Swinto. And if you want to know more, there's the information on the slide. You can visit our website or you can email us directly.
Thank you for your pitch. This was our final pitch for the afternoon, and now we'll have additional 3 minutes for the Q&A.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. As far as I understood, everything is free for end consumer, but what would be your revenue stream?
Sure. Thank you very much for actually listening to our presentation. So our revenue stream is predominantly based on the fees we get from the merchants on the purchases. A little bit on the FX conversion rates, because we actually are directly hooked up to the FX markets in London. So we get the interbank offering rate for FX and get like a little bit of a fee for our clients. But for otherwise, there's no transaction fees nor any purchase fees for the end user.
And you
Besides
mentioned.
Besides that, actually, we also offer the opportunity to withdraw money at our merchant network. So there, the client also pays little fee.
You mentioned transferring money from abroad. So transferring money back from one country to the other. These transactions are account-based, card-based, or you process that? How do transactions work?
Yeah, so we have a virtual ledger behind the scenes that we run, and that happens through the app. So users will go to the app, they will find their friends and family through contacts, and they'll just click that and they'll send the amount that they want to send. And they can also choose to set a frequency, so they can send that every week or month or however they please.
How will they deposit the money?
So we have, for example, let's take the case in Switzerland. We have full-blown bank accounts in Switzerland where our clients can actually open an account, put their salaries in, top up their accounts via bank transfers, or even use credit cards to top up their bank accounts. So they will have a fully blown individual IBAN with deposit insurance. And in Kosovo, they will have also kind of an IBAN where they can also kind of put their salaries in there. They can top it up through like cash top-ups at the merchant stores, through bank transfers, or using credit cards.
Is there any competition in Kosovo right now? And how do people do this job to be done right now today? Are they using like Western Union or whatever?
Yeah, Western Union is the way to go. There are, by the way, there's one or two other companies which we think is great because we definitely are behind fintech. But there are so many challenges already, and most of the challenges also have to do with fees, charges. But the technology around it is really difficult and not really trustworthy as well, actually. So yeah,
and the other competitors are usually the money transfer institutions like MoneyGram and all of them, where you have to normally people go and physically deposit money and you have to withdraw it within 72 hours. In our case, you don't withdraw money; you keep it in your e-wallet. You can either kind of transfer to other people, use it for purchases or withdrawals. Yeah.
Thank you to the Swinto team. This is all the time we had for the questions.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot.
And as I mentioned, this was our final pitch for this afternoon. And while the jury deliberates, I will be joined on the stage by our panelists, where we'll be discussing some new frontiers and new technological solutions in the area of financial technologies. So we've heard about some of those solutions that are being built by the startups from our ecosystem here in the region, but we'll also discuss some more broad trends that are happening in fintech in general. We have three really great speakers. Some of you already know them from previous years' competitions where they participated either as speakers or as the jury. And now I'm going to introduce them one by one. So Nebojša Đurđević, advisor to the board of Digital Serbia Initiative and also partner at Vega IT. Hi, Nebojša. It's great to have you again.
Hi, thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Great. Also, another Nebojša Jovanović, who's head of the digital banking and products division at Raiffeisen Bank AD. Hi, Nebojša. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
Great to have you. And also Dženan Šljivo, who is CDO at Nega and also product lead at Ministry of Programming. Dženan is running a bit late, but we will start without him. So as I already mentioned, there's a lot of really exciting things happening in fintech, and we've heard some of the solutions that are being built in our ecosystems, but I wanted to hear from both of our panelists that are here at the moment. What are some of the technologies or solutions that can be implemented in the area of financial systems that you are especially excited about these days and that you are paying special attention to, or that you think will be great bets for the future in terms of fintech solutions? Maybe we can start with Nebojša Đurđević.
Great, thank you. Well, there are three tech trends disrupting financial services on a basically large scale that I'm following. So one would be the big tech platform companies, pretty much muscling in on payments and banks. The second one is with the governments actually starting to issue central bank digital currencies, which may have a major impact on the banking as we know it. And the third one is also the emergence of DeFi, decentralized finance. On a more tactical level, I'm quite actually excited about the opportunities that instant payments that allow for account-to-account transfer without card payment networks are enabling. And pretty much as they were viewed in the last 2-3 years as the platforms for innovation, that's I think shaping up in that direction with a very large pickup. So I think that's a great opportunity for innovation.
Amazing. Thank you for this concise overview. And we'll touch more upon some of the things that you mentioned, especially in the area of decentralized finance and Web3 solutions that are being built. Nebojša Jovanovic, how about you? What are some of the solutions and technologies you are especially excited about?
Yeah, I'm maybe a bit less concise, but I would like to share with you a few examples. Thank you, Nebojša. You've given it a super introduction and structured it a bit. What we are viewing, well, not nowadays. I mean, it's an emerging trend for the past 5, 6, 7 years. Is the emergence of the fintechs, neobanks, the challenger banks, which are fintechs on their own. The classical example is the German-based bank N26 that some of you may be aware of. What these guys, Revolut, another example that everyone knows. These guys are literally dissecting financial service. They're picking up single products. They're focusing on the entering markets. They're growing large in a very quick, let's say, period of time. They're combining various, let's say, solutions within their end-to-end product scopes, and they are, part of the development, market development that we as traditional banks are observing very closely. So, example to give you their size and the might that is demonstrated through the figures. I'd named that N26. I remember 5, 6 years ago we were analyzing this bank as a nice, interesting concept. This bank had 300,000 customers. Nowadays they have 7 million customers. So Revolut is going, at a value of $33 billion. So it's the second largest fintech in Europe. The guys are covering 16 million customers, etc. So they started with single products, but they're expanding into multiple product areas. They're offering in the meantime also credit products. So they're really there to stay. There are multiple other examples: Monzo, US Chime, Brazil's New Bank, etc. There is another area of fintechs. These are the companies such as Klarna, such as Affirm. These guys offering concepts of buying goods now and paying them later. So they're partnering with retailers. They are offering customers very cheap or even zero interest and fee loans where they can basically finance their purchases via e-commerce at retail online stores. What's also blooming is the digital payments. I mean, we are all aware of PayPal, Wise, Apple Pay, well, also Raiffeisen solution that is enabling extremely convenient and comfortable way of conducting payment services. What's also picking up is the utilization of artificial intelligence and advanced analytics. AI, in particular in the area of digital identity. So the banks, including Raiffeisen, are using AI video computing and robotics to conduct know your customer procedures. This is an important step in basically approving a customer loan, for instance. Also, AI is used in the area of chatbots. So using natural language processing, we have enabled chatbots that can converse with our customers. Example is another, I have to promote a little bit, Raiffeisen Electronic Assistant, some of you may be aware of. which communicates in perfect Serbian language with our customers 24/7. So this made our bank significantly more accessible than before. And the customers can use any channel of their liking, Viber, Messenger, website of the bank, and talk to the bot to get the information. What we've been hearing, and I will close with that, what we've been hearing a lot nowadays is the Facebook being transformed from a social network to metaverse network. Well, metaverse is not really a new thing. It is based on virtual and augmented reality. But you know, when Mark Zuckerberg basically makes statements which relate to metaverse, then this story blooms quickly. But generally, there is an interest from the financial industry players, even traditional banks, of the use of virtual reality, augmented reality. Still shy steps, I have to say. We've seen in Bank of America, for instance, use of VR in the area of customer education. So they're using virtual reality to improve efficiency of educating customer. We also seen Bank BNP Paribas using virtual reality, allowing the customers to access their accounts, activities, transactional records, etc. But the future is also bright for these technologies. Imagine you're walking downtown, you know, and you see a beautiful building you want to have a flat in, and then by use of VR hardware, you see that which flats are available, and you also see what is the installment of a mortgage that you can get with Raiffeisen Bank to buy such a mortgage. You will not imagine how much you can afford, and you're not even aware of that, you know. So these technologies will help further in this direction.
This really greatly illustrates the variety and the volume of things happening in this sector, and how many different interesting things there are to follow. Thank you, Nebojša, for your overview. Jen, and I would also like to hear your opinions on what are some of the trends and new technologies to follow in the fintech areas.
Yes, really, like we are living in a world where everything is changing now. Fintech is changing quite a lot, and it's already changing like every day. My view here is that everything is changing toward people actually controlling their money, controlling what they have, like controlling the assets. So this is something, like from my perspective, that is the most important thing that's actually being changed now. So instead of someone else being in control what you have, what you own, this is now being moved toward us. And this is something that everyone needs to understand. This is, from my perspective, something not like, yes, it's okay if you offer someone, you are like working somewhere, like, and you're offering like how much Raiffeisen can give you the interest rate on this. But this is like a really small amount. Like this is like something that will make your life easier, so you don't need to go to the Raiffeisen Bank. But what is most interesting is with the advancements in the like Web3, like that's being done, etc., like the blockchain technologies, is that we are now in control of our interest. That we'll see that some person can give us those funds to purchase that department, not Raiffeisen Bank, not any other bank, but someone else will be able to do this for us. So we'll be in control of our finance. We'll be exchanging with other people. Peer-to-peer exchanges will be happening more often. They are already happening in exchanges. And this is what excites me the most, and probably should excite other people, because we'll be skipping the middleman in all of these parts. Like whenever you want something, now you need to like drop your funds to the bank, then do something, etc. Now with these investments that are still not yet there, we are actually giving the control back to the people, which is already being done with open banking. That's like now already like happening in the world, etc. So this is everything that banks own, the data. This is my data, and they were like basically keeping that away from us. And now with new laws, with the new fintechs that pushed actually those laws, like We are now being in control of that data, what we want to do with them, that data, when also, so we don't like say, yeah, it's 5 o'clock, the banks are closed, you cannot do this. You call someone, you are no longer like, you are pushed like on the line, wait, please 5 minutes, etc. So this is something that should probably excite everyone. There are quite a lot of challenges for this to actually happen from the security perspective, etc. But you need to understand from the security perspective, we are now more vulnerable than we will end up being when the control is on us. For example, our social accounts were more secure in a way than banking transfers. If you lost your credit card, like just a few years ago, you will lose everything. Like people will end up paying online with your credit card because all of these standard financial services like banks were not even able at that time to implement the simple 2FA, MFA that the social platforms were having. So there was a need for there was basically they were forced to introduce these like 2FA MFAs. So now you even see it in Balkans countries that once you do the payment, you need to enter 2FA if it's SMS or even like some authenticators, because the SMS is actually not that secure compared to the authenticators that you have, the hardware authenticators or something that you have on your device. So all of these things are, from my perspective at least, like not talking in the like someone else's name, are way more interesting than actually seeing how much I can be offered by any bank when I'm purchasing an apartment. I want to have an option to directly have this by some other person that will be controlled via smart contracts, that I cannot get like double crossed by someone. That will be basically built-in technology, like when I buy an apartment and I loan crypto or some other form of money from someone, that it will be like built in the contract that I cannot be double crossed, you know, when this happens. So these are
I think
the things that
you touched upon an interesting topic that I'd like to explore a bit further, and this is a question for Nebojša Đurđević, who has been sort of a veteran in the fintech world and has been building startups for more than 20 years. In this area, how do you see these new trends that both you and Janan mentioned in terms of decentralized finance and bringing power and data back to end users, etc., coexisting and maybe even creating and existing together with traditional banks and banking systems? Is it something that's a zero-sum game, or can they coexist?
Well, kind of, there are different parts. I mentioned those four, let's say, and maybe let's unpack them just quickly one by one. So the three big trends that are disrupting or trying to disrupt finance actually are disrupting it. As I said, are big tech platform companies getting into payments and banking and using the might of the relationship they have with the consumers. They're launching wallets, etc. We are all aware of that. Then we have the central bank digital currencies that are coming out, and DeFi, decentralized finance. Now, those three are fundamentally different visions that are competing. All three of them are based on the technical architecture and almost an ideology on how the finance and economics should run. So I feel that we are almost at the point where we were at the beginning of internet. We don't know which way will ultimately go, but if you look at, for example, what you mentioned with decentralized finance and traditional banks, well, they are directly competing. Decentralized finance is there to take out the middlemen per se, so intermediaries. So decentralized finance is there to take the banks as we know them today out of business. And decentralized finance, I guess we will speak about that a bit more later, is still nascent. It's immature. We will see what will happen. There are many promises. Everybody's taking it seriously. But we don't know yet which way will this go. And I can also make a reference for digital currencies to be issued by the governments, by the central banks. There is a fundamental shift. All of us as consumers now, we have a bank accounts with commercial banks. So the banking system works on that way, that the bank will take our deposits. They will keep the fraction of that basically liquid. So they have money available if we want to take something out, but the rest they will actually lend. So the economy is working on the banks lending the money that came from the deposits. Now, if the central bank issues digital currency, basically what will happen, me as an individual will have a wallet or account at the central bank. So I will be depositing my money at the central bank, which means that the commercial banks will not have the deposits in place to enable lending. And that's a major difference, because right now only the banks, the commercial banks, actually have the settlement accounts at the central bank and can actually settle their transactions in the central bank money. So those are big fundamental issues. So I don't see much compatibility. Like, it's really disruptive, and it's too early to tell. What is one thing I can say, and me being in fintech, as you said, for 30 years. So I was once young, 26, 7 in fintech startup. All of us underestimated the might of existing business models, trust and complexity in delivering comprehensive services that the banking systems provide. So the banks are actually, the incumbent banks are very well positioned to thrive. So when we talk about fintechs, I think there is a bit of a misnomer. Fintech is using financial technology to deliver, augment, whatever, the financial services. We have some of the banks actually now being a major fintechs in terms of how sophisticated solutions they deliver. And that's where you actually have, I think one thing that you mentioned, we actually have a lot of fintech startups who started willing to disrupt the banks, figured out that they can actually solve some of the pain points that the banks or their users and clients have, solve them exceptionally well, and actually team up with the banks to extend, augment the services that are being provided, leveraging the trust, stability, and everything else that the big banks have. So I think that's where there is synergy per se, or huge opportunity for cooperation. And we actually see the example of that over the last 5 years everywhere.
I absolutely agree. And I want to hear also Nebojsa's perspective on how you approach finding and actually integrating new solutions and new innovations into your pre-existing banking system. And what's your approach? Do you prefer teaming up with startups who are building some interesting technology that you can maybe implement in your own systems, or do you prefer to build internal teams that will build the knowledge base for these new technologies and at some point implement them and integrate them into what you already do with your clients?
Well, the fact that the Elevator Challenge is going now on for the 4th year in a row tells a lot about our orientation. So Raiffeisen Bank pays an incredible attention to fintechs, to the startups, to the fresh ideas. And actually, we've seen them mushrooming. We've seen it today, they're mushrooming in the startup workshops. Still, the reality is that we combine approaches. I mean, it makes sense for some solutions to be developed in-house or with one particular vendor, but we do combine approaches. I'll give an example of iCash. It's a product we branded iCash, which was the first actually in the market, launched 3 years ago as a fully end-to-end online cash loan, where a customer can get a loan within 30 minutes without going to a branch. This single product comprises of 10 different solutions, and 2 of them, the major ones, are actually fintechs, independent fintechs. One is ID Now, a solution which is helping us conduct the video identification and verification of the customers. the system which is pretty complex, use biometrics to match customers' face to the customer's, let's say, picture on the ID, etc. Without that component, we would have never reached the final end and have an end-to-end product. Another, let's say, fintech, which is combining in the same solution, iCash, is the BDS, Big Data Scoring. It's a fintech that helps us actually score the customer credit worthiness based on the customer digital footprint. So by allowing us to check customers' email, mobile number, and their footprint, we are able to get more than 3,000 variables, which help us instantaneously to evaluate this particular customer and decide whether they're liable for a loan or not. But again, within the same example, we are using something as open banking that we've just discussed about now is not still part of the regulatory framework in Serbia. We are still using scraping solutions. So within the same solution, we're using, for example, something we developed in-house, which is a PDF scraper, which helps us actually scrape the account statements. So this releases customer of immense effort of providing, getting their salary certificates, going to the employer, bringing them physically to the bank, etc. The system does it on their own. So we check the salary of the customer, and without these three components, there are some others. This iCash would not work. There are situations where we simply tend to cooperate with one single fintech and operate. But I'll tell about it maybe a second later, not to occupy now too much space.
Thank you. And both you and Janan touched upon the topic of open banking and also PSD2 directive, which of course isn't active in all of the countries of the region, but it definitely became a major topic since 2018 and even before 2018 when it was when it began to be active in the European Union. And I wanted to ask first Janan and then also Nebojša Đurđević, and Nebojša, if you want to also give us your take on this. What has been the impact, the real world impact of this directive to new solutions that are being built, and how do you assess the potential of future impact of this directive and its importance for the future solutions that will be developed?
Yes. So first, a touch point on what others talked. Yeah, we have like two different ways that now we are traveling in fintech. It's the one when banks and like fintechs actually just expand on what banks are offering, building it faster, etc. And what I talked about is that everything will be decentralized, which is part of like what Web3 will offer. So in this manner, on the open banking, it really brought a lot of things, like a lot of good things for the end customers. First of all, this is the part where the information that is ours are now in our control. With this in mind, a lot of startups in Europe, first of all, this is like if someone is wondering like which countries are using this in force, this is like mostly now for the EU countries. It started, I believe, like a few years ago, starting from 2018, the countries and like some countries end up forcing that on their like bank providers. Most of the like banks that ended up implementing this are in the UK. So UK was quite advanced in this field. And what we are seeing there and what's being offered is quite great. Like, for example, we are also now in cooperation with Tink that's one of the best startups in using these open banking services. And one thing to know is that they will be like, they are now purchased like this year by the Visa. So Visa actually purchased one of the biggest startups in terms of open banking services. What they are offering now is bank transfers that are quite easy to do. So previously, when we were doing the bank transfer, it was all manual, or also like maybe some PDF, etc. So the bank transfers now that we are doing online are quite like easy to be done. First of all, when this was just implemented, like the open banking when it started, it was mostly used in a viewer. So just to view your data, like it was being used, all of these startups ended up like just fetching your data to use it, provide you, for example, different sortings of your expenses, so that you can sort your expenses, for example, what you spent on gaming, what you spent on education, etc. So, for example, like these smaller things that make you more organized, like you organize your books, organize your like clothes, etc. You are now being able to organize your expenses to see like exactly where to go. It sounds quite silly, but this was not actually something that was offered by the banks. They had this opportunity and they were not offering this. This is what I'm saying. Sometimes that you need to push someone to offer the service. It happens to everything. Like you're in your comfort zone, and if it's working, you are not offering some other services to others if everything is offering, unless some new player comes. Open banking actually managed to introduce quite a lot of new players that forced the traditional banks to offer different services. So now you actually see these services that startups brought, you see them in the application the banks offer. Now, with the advancement of open banking and additional data, you can actually use the third parties to pay your bills. So actually, you give them permission for your money, like to pay on your behalf. Like they actually connect with the other bank, but they pay on your behalf. So you can actually use open banking solutions, pay for certain online like services, etc., to also block certain online services in their apps. So you can actually say that I never want to pay for gambling, for example, for gaming. So you actually can end up having your child with a bank account that you just toggle, but you don't want him to be able to pay using that application. Again, all of this can sound silly, but it was never offered before by central bank. So if you had your credit card, if you have something like your bank, you could actually pay anything. You didn't have an option to block something. And now you are seeing that people, normal people, are coming into play. They are like offering, they are building these startups. They have some troubles, of course, like with regulations, etc. But they are offering startups that actually resolve some of the pain points from the real life. So these are like real life pain points. We always want to track our data. We always want like you want to block your website, that you don't want to block, like visit some website. We want the same thing when we are paying something, and that is what open banking started to offer. We are different startups. I don't want to accidentally purchase something or someone else that is either gambling in something else. Maybe we are on some page and we try to purchase and then it stopped us. Like you are not able to purchase this because you actually end up including this like in your application that we will block these transfers. So it actually changed quite a lot. These are all the small points. Like when you're talking about these, like probably to you even like it means like, but yeah, these are just so simple things, but they were not being offered before. This is like why we have all these small startups, because people want to be offered things that they were actually going to use. And with one of the points like open banking, etc., others will be able to build functionalities that people started using, and now banks are also catching up. So that's something that is quite important to me, is that you offer something first, not wait for others to offer, but you offer it first. And that is what startups are building. So the banks are catching up, the traditional banks are catching up. Yes, some startups ended up like going into like fintechs, etc., and they purchased additional banks. But it is different. Why? When you start as a bank, traditional bank, that is your core, and you are adding on top of it. It's quite simple. And when you start as a fintech, that is your core. You never lose that core that you started with. This is of importance. And if you started as a bank, 50 years old bank, 100 years old bank, it's quite hard to get away from the thing that you started with. the people, the management, everything that is being done, you need to change from the core. So this is the main thing that separates the fintech that end up purchasing another bank or becoming a bank, getting a license, and the bank that started as a bank. So these are the two things that I also like to mention to others, like mention to other banks. You started as a bank. It's quite hard to change. It's quite hard. Everything that we are talking about now is being built by engineers. It's not being built by bankers. And the banks are quite in the trouble of attracting those engineers to build these technologies for them. So they need to cooperate with, they need to work with other startups to build like ID now. There are quite a few others like on Fido, and I don't know, like there are 10 others that are offering similar services, and they are all startups and are working quite well. So this is my view on this topic a bit.
Thank you, Jen. And Nebo, what's your assessment of open banking initiatives? We can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Sorry, I will just go back to kind of open banking in the context of PSD2, as you asked. So when it was announced a few years ago and now being live, basically, as we know, the banks have to provide APIs that would allow third-party providers to provide account information services or to be able to initiate the payments on behalf of the consumers that sign up with them. So account information and payment initiation. That was basically came out, as you said, I think in 2018. From what I recall, it really became in full power only from the beginning of this year. So we have pretty much the experience and see how we are tracking for half a year or now almost a full year. So the promise was, as Jenan said, that we will have startups innovating or fintech companies innovating and coming up with the areas where there was clear inconvenience for consumers. So as Nebojša mentioned, pretty much before open banking and PSD2, if I have, and most of the consumers will have, bank accounts at multiple banks, the only way to consolidate would be using a screen scraping technology for that third-party providers to get the information based on my login, which I really shouldn't provide to a third party. I'm actually breaching my agreement with the bank, and collect all the information in one spot, so I can see all the transaction details. I can consolidate them and get fancy views, and also be able to initiate payments from that one provider at multiple banks. There were many promises and innovative ideas. I remember as early as 2016, I was at the Fintech Amsterdam. They do meetups once a month. And there was a startup that was pitching a solution where they would get the information from all the bank accounts that would allow them to analyze how am I spending, what am I doing, and that would also allow me to set the goals, how much I want to save for vacation or for any purpose. And then they would also be able, using the mobile application, to see and actually even anticipate if I'm going to break some of my goals. And one example was that they know, they can see from the transaction records that if it is Monday and it's raining, I feel quite miserable. And if I'm walking by the perfume store, I will go in and buy an expensive perfume and blow my budget. So because they have my geolocation, and if it's Monday and it's raining, they know where I am, and they see that I'm walking down the main street and there is a perfume store, they will say, hey, don't go there. You mess up your budget on Mondays. So very neat ideas. Now, where are we with all of that? If you look at, I looked at the report which was showing the 6 months, basically from January until June. There was not much really happening. There was not, we do not have that anticipated take-up and proliferation of certified service provider, neither for account information services, not for payment initiation. For example, if you look at the UK, In 2018, there were 320,000 online banking payments, and that grew to 4 million online banking payments this year, basically from January, or actually last year in 2020. For the whole year, 4 million. That is how much one major bank in the UK does in one day. So the pickup was not great. Now, that's not surprising. As I said before, people get excited about ideas, but when it comes down to their money, they're very conservative. They want to make sure that it's secure. And all of this fancy tech stuff, yes, there will be early adopters that will go and enjoy it, but to get the majority of people to move, it will take time. Just look at the chip cards and EMV, like how long it took for that technology to pick up, and contactless. And in this area as well, it will pick up, but until now, the pickup was not there. But as I said, it's not surprising. It's normal. We can see that it's going up, and also the people are getting more and more comfortable with tech providers and dealing with non-traditional institutions. So I think the opportunity will be delivered. It will take a bit longer.
If I can also say, like, this is panel, I believe we can talk like this.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Jump in.
It depends on the state of the, like, for example, consumers. For example, in China, the pickup on these technologies is quite bigger. Why? Because they actually skipped a step that Europe and the USA had in terms of the credit cards, etc., these payments. They skipped this step. They were never quite used to these things. And the most of the payments, like every payment, is being done. So they have like this, I forgot, like they are basically having an app that's even like a system on its own for messaging, for sending money, for purchasing, and they're using it for everything. They don't even
but there is
use cards everywhere.
There is one difference, just. We cannot talk about China because PSD2 is only EU.
Yeah, but
it's not even Serbia,
no,
let alone US or China.
Yes, I'm not talking here
it's
about
not fintech in general, it's PSD2.
Yes, of course, but I'm talking about fintech in general. So that
okay.
Now in
it's
Europe,
a different topic.
Now in Europe, when you are having younger people that want to spend money in 10 years, etc., it will change. So of course, it's slower to change because majority of, like for example, in Germany, they are quite sensitive with their money more than in any other country. So for example, in Germany, you are really hard to get a person to trade Forex, etc., because they know it's a bit risky, quite risky, to be honest, and they don't do it. But which startups, which fintechs are successful in Germany? The fintechs for saving money or actually investing, not like for trading, etc. So Trade Republic is huge in Germany, like in really like just a few. So we have different fintechs. Trade Republic is also fintech that's offering you a really nice way to invest your money into stocks. For example, let us see our possibilities here, at least like let's Balkans, Bosnia. So the only
Let me
way...
just jump in for a second, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but since we need to wrap up fairly soon, I have just one final question for our entire panel, and that's something that both you and Nebojša kind of touched upon, and that's the changing habits of today's consumers as we see younger generations starting to enter and actually need financial services, but also becoming early adopters of some new Web3 solutions, etc. How do you think, especially focusing on our region, the consumers' habits in terms of finance are changing? And I know it's kind of not really easy to give any predictions, but in which way do you see it going further in the next couple of years to come? Whoever wants to jump in first, and let's do it snappy because we're running out of time.
So from my point of view, it's quite related to how person sees their like interest, how they are earning money, and how they want to like earn money without working, because like most of the people here like correlate earning money just by working, which is bad, honestly. For example, currently in Germany, like they are really low in terms of like they are in trouble. Most of them don't know in terms of the pensions. So how the pensions work? You are basically now working for the people that are already in pension. So you are actually betting that there will be people working for you when you go into pension. So you are actually lending your own money now to be able to collect it later on, and no one guarantees you that you can. So for me and for all the people, that they should, I believe, they should actually start thinking about how the money will work for them. And with fintechs and everything that is happening, this is something that, from my perspective, is also a bigger thing, is how can you control your money better so you can work less?
Do you think that consumers are becoming more aware of this, or
absolutely, absolutely. So at least in EU, they are becoming more aware of this, and we need to educate them. It's our work. Banks will not educate you about this or others. We need to educate the people that are actually. So you see now that quite a lot of people here, for example, why would I pay my pension? Like, I don't know even if I'm going to get it, and I'm entitled to pay it. So for example, why not, if you would, to invest what you're paying to pension for certain like stocks, etc., you'll be earning 10, 100 times more than you will ever like get with your pension, like with that money. You will be earning that. You will be going to pension, for example, when you have 40 years, unless waiting for 65, 70 years. They are now thinking to have pension with 70 years. So you are needed to work with 70 years of age, like we are no longer living that much, and you want to earn. So I believe that we need to start thinking about our money more, start investing money, not keeping money just to be there, because with every day our money being spent in the banks, we are actually losing that money. And with every day, the prices on everything are changing. We are actually having less money than we had yesterday, and no one is telling us that. No one is telling us that. So we need to change it. We need to be more vocal. That's why I'm using also like these panels, like I said, to be vocal. What you had yesterday, and if it's the same amount in the bank today, you can purchase less. So your purchasing power is less if you don't invest your money, etc.
Thank you.
So this is where you need to go.
If you allow me,
yes. So
if you allow me, I mean, I'll try. I'll be snappy, as you asked. I disagree a little bit that it is not the bank's role to educate the customers, and I will demonstrate it through the figures. We've seen now since the beginning of the pandemics, so in the past, let's say 2 years now since the pandemic started, we've seen an incredible change in behavior of customers. So they want everything remote, they want everything digital, they want to take control of their finances, they want to take control of their services, they want to block their cards on their own and extend the limit. They don't want to go to the branches. And to demonstrate it through some figures, we've seen, for instance, a growth in mobile banking usage, incredible growth. So 100%, increase in the past year and a half, 2 years in mobile banking users. We have like over 65% of primary customer base that is using actively mobile banking to check their finance, to get financial advice, to conduct the payments. What's also interesting is that more customers are opting to buy banking products online. So another example I shared with you earlier, the iCash, since the beginning of pandemics, it has grown 5 times. So 5 times in like monthly figures. Also, customers like to get their advice remotely. So also there is an increasing use of video interaction, remote advisory services. We have this concept of premium direct, where customers can conduct the daily banking activities. They can talk to their relationship managers on the investment activities. Since the beginning of pandemic, this number of users of Premium Direct has grown 6 times. Also, usage of chatbots in interaction with the bank has grown 3 times since the beginning of pandemic. So there is a huge change in behavior. And to be honest, this did not happen only due to the pandemics. It happened due to a huge effort the bank is investing into educating customers in changing their behavior this direction.
Thank you, Nebojša and Nebo. Let's have a few closing points.
Really quick. So I would agree with what Nebojša said with respect where will the consumers go, and that's basically the increase the usage of mobile due to pandemic on one side, but all the other reasons. I would like to highlight something else in terms, and I'm talking here about Serbia. I'm not that familiar with the other countries in the region. I think that here the solutions will continue to be dominated by the banks in the near future for kind of two reasons. One, younger population is really adopting easily investment applications and fintech solutions, and Jenan said. And unfortunately, in Serbia, it's almost non-existing. I mean, because of foreign exchange law and everything else, pretty much everybody's investing just buying real estate. Nobody's investing in any kind of equities or whatever, like Wealthsimple, which is really very popular among young population. So the whole investment part is in a way off limits. I don't see much action there. And the other part where we could see something, I think, is related to instant payments. Instant payment service could allow really innovative applications that would be attractive to younger population who are early adopters and great mobile users. There I see two obstacles. One is, again, obviously regulatory impact and the licenses for e-money or payment service provider that the fintech startup would need to obtain on one side, which has cost, and on the other side, a very small market. So you really are not a startup if you are targeting just Serbia or not even just the region. So for those reasons, I think that we will continue to see those innovative solutions that clients are adopting being offered through major banks. And just to kind of make it clear, I may sound a bit too pro-bank here, but I think it's just reality. I never worked for a bank. I'm a hardcore fintech startup guy, but looking at the environment and the way how much the banks are like Raiffeisen picking up on fintech technologies and solutions, I think that's the channel that in the next 5 years, we will see those advanced solutions being delivered in Serbia.
Thank you so much, Nebojša, and thank you, Jenan and other Nebojša. I really enjoyed our time here together, and I hoped we can discuss this even further, but unfortunately we are out of time, and I got the info that our jury is back with a decision. Thanks again, and I hope to see you soon in another discussion of this type. Hopefully, even live in an offline mode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again to our panelists and also to you, our audience, who is still here and following our event. We are ready to announce our winner, and I would invite Eva to join us on the stage and tell us what's the decision the jury made.
Thank you. So, dear startups, thank you very much for great presentations. We have to admit that you have given us a very hard task. It was not easy to choose just one winner, but we had to. So, this year, Elevator Lab Challenge Reward in Payments and Advanced Analytics Solutions category goes to Swinto. Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much. Thanks a lot.
Congratulations, folks. How are you feeling? What are your impressions?
I think first of all, I'm speechless. It's really great to. I mean, we had really great competitors. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to everyone. I mean, we really appreciate what's happening in the region. We really truly believe that the future is in this region, and there will be a lot of innovative companies coming out of this place. And of course, I mean, we are happy to win. There's a lot of work ahead of us.
Can we also just add to all this that Ivan is saying? We've been working very, very hard, and everyone at the company has been working day and night. So this is a real kind of thank you to them as well and to us. We're on this panel, but it's not just us. There's a lot of people behind it, and I know that right now as they're watching this, they're probably feeling very, very proud. So thank you for giving us that feeling and this award.
Thanks a lot. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to the team. We love our team. We love what we do. Thank you.
That's lovely. Congratulations again, and we'll see you on December 15th in our regional final, where you will meet another team that won yesterday's category, that was Easy Albania, and tomorrow we will find out who will be the third team joining you in the finals. Thank you also to all of the other participants and our jury members for the great session that we had today, and thank you, Iva, for announcing the decision. So this was our second category event. I would invite you to also follow our third semifinal event that's happening tomorrow at the same time at our YouTube channel, which you're already familiar with. And tomorrow we're going to see solutions from ESG, and this is the new category that wasn't the part of Elevator Lab Challenge before. So I would really invite you to come and meet those teams from the region who are building environmentally and socially responsible solutions. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. Today's winner, Swinto, won a prize of 5,000 euros of a grant, and also they have an opportunity to do a pilot project with one of the regional Raiffeisen Banks and integrate their solution into their network of more than 2.6 million clients. Once again, congratulations to the winning team, and thank you to you, our audience, for staying with us until the end. I hope you had a lovely time and that you will have a lovely rest of the evening. Thank you and goodbye.